It is time for Three Guys Before the Game. We welcome you in. This is episode number 627. The title is Next Up, as the search continues for West Virginia's next head basketball coach. When will the search end? Who will it be? We'll talk about that. Also coming up on the program, WVU women will shoot tonight, Monday evening, for the opportunity to go to the Sweet 16 of the NCAA tournament. It won't be easy. West Virginia against the Tar Heels of North Carolina on their home floor.
Is that going to be about a 2.5-hour segment? Because I had some time. I went a little deeper probably than I needed to on the numbers there.
You say Conley CPA is going to get its money's worth?
I got a couple.
Excellent.
I got a couple.
Okay.
Excellent.
Three Guys brought to us by Jan Dills, attorneys at law. They won't take no for an answer. By Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years.
Freaking North Carolina.
By GoMart. Get a GoMart rewards card. Download it on the App Store or go to gomart.com for details. Download it, you'll save. Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. They're giving away a Honda motor. I'll tell you how to do that in just a little bit. Sign up. Three Guys brought to us by Tudor's Biscuit World. Start your day the homemade way. And by Conley's CPA Group, providing value beyond numbers. All right.
This North Carolina thing with what happened with the NCAA, now you got to go there, play on their court, play North Carolina. It's like an infection. You get it. It takes about 10 days.
Might be 2 weeks.
10 days to 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, that didn't... Of all the places to play, this probably would not be the ideal location right now.
A stunning and amazing coincidence that happened.
Stunning.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll get into that. So we're recording early on Monday afternoon, and as you all know, when coaching searches take place, they can change hour by hour, maybe 10-minute by 10-minute blocks. So anything we say could be dated really super quick. Really don't have any inside feel as to how long this will go on. It's Monday. I mean, it'd be a surprise if you didn't know by Thursday, Friday.
Yes.
Process of elimination has begun to take place. Ben McCullum out of the mix, staying in his home state, his hometown, for that matter, in Iowa City. He becomes the next coach at Iowa. Nico Medved's name had also been mentioned both last year and this year, but it seemed as though his deal with Minnesota was done a while back.
He's an alum and state native.
Right. Born there, was on staff there, so he goes to Minnesota. And so that takes two out of a potential list for West Virginia. And so now, like I said, next up, who is it going to be? Kercheval. Obviously, you have some observations.
I have some obvious observations. One is that McCullum, that's not a big surprise, right, Brad? Iowa guy. And Iowa was under tremendous pressure, were they not?
Tremendous pressure.
Tremendous pressure. So that's understandable. And look, and Ren Baker knows that. So... And we, I believe, speaking collectively, had a lot of faith in Ren Baker and how he does these searches. And if you're Ren Baker, you don't have – it's not like you have one candidate and that's the only candidate you're looking at. You're looking at a pool. And you may have favorites in that pool, but you still have a pool. And certainly McCallum was in that pool, but you don't put all your eggs – let me mix metaphors. You don't put all your eggs in that basket knowing what you know, number one. Number two is that, like you said, Tony, I think this is now a matter of a couple of days because Ren tends to move pretty quickly. These things happen relatively quickly. And guess what? The portal opened today. So you got to deal with that. Jared Calhoun, you would figure he's in the mix along with a couple others. Chester Frazier, should he get a look? I mean, he's a guy that is looking for a head coaching job and a successful assistant here under DeVries. And you wonder whether he would go with DeVries, but where is Chester Frazier from? He's an Illinois guy. So
was it Illinois? Baltimore guy, yeah.
Yeah. Does he want to go to Indiana? So, you're wondering about that. That's out there. I think that whoever's left at the basketball office, though, somebody needs to call Isaac McNeely today. Somebody. I don't know who's over there, who's left. Somebody needs to call him. The governor wanted to have a news conference about the NCAA. Forget the NCAA. Call Isaac McNeely or send the plane over.
Wow. See, he jumped right into personnel. We forget about coach.
Coach will now in on the personnel side of things.
Probably need a coach before you can go get players.
Well, okay, but the program's there. Somebody's still got to be left with the program.
Kirchhoff wants Toby, who's over there getting some shots up, getting ready for his pro career, to call down there and get some personnel lined up.
Yeah. But look, the search is. I would think that they still have 3, 4, 5 people in the pool. Okay, and they're doing interviews. They've done the vetting. They're doing the in-person interviews. And McCollum, we know, is out. Medved's out. So something has to come together fairly quickly in this process. Thursday?
You also have to do your research. You have to talk to folks. There's not an obvious slam dunk candidate here, so you want to make sure you get as much information as you can, and you do that. And maybe some teams are still playing. That's the other part of that.
Exactly.
There's teams that are still having games that you have to wade through as well. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I think especially on the basketball side, given there's so many more teams that compete at the Division I level, there's so many more teams that cross over in terms of playing higher level opponents, I think your information gathering in some ways becomes easier on the basketball side than the football side.
Right.
And, oh, by the way, just the machine of football is so big. So your projections of coming from a smaller school to a larger school can sometimes be a tougher calculation than it is in basketball. So I think Ren said this well. It's a line from John Wooden: be quick, but don't hurry. Yes, the portal's open. The portal being open also doesn't need you to absolutely panic and push the wrong button for the hire. So get it right. Talk to your folks. Who are you most comfortable with? Who do you have the most confidence in? And you make your offer. But I agree. I would be surprised if it's not here in a few days.
Just looked up at the big calendar on the wall, and today was the day that Darren DeVries was hired 1 year ago today at West Virginia. Think about all that has transpired.
One thing Brad, I think you disagree on this, but you would like to have as much assurance as is reasonable that it's not going to be a one and done and you have to go through it again.
You can't get that insurance. How possibly would you get that insurance? Here's what I say to that. You do what you did last time. You thought you had assurances. You didn't. You had a big buyout, so you take the money. I think Ren had a really astute comment about that. It wasn't Ren's choice. Mm-hmm. It was Darren's choice. Darren chose to leave. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
It's that person's deal. So you do the same thing again. You make a good hire. You put a good buyout in. You hope the person stays so you can get some traction and momentum started. And if they happen not to, then you go do this again and you hire another good coach. I mean, I look no further than Drake.
Yeah.
My old high school coach's son, Brian Harden. What's Brian Harden thinking? Nico was there for 1 year. Darren DeVries comes in. Now, he stayed 6, which was an unusually long time at Drake. Plucked Ben McCollum, there for 1 year, another great hire. Yeah. Ben McCollum, boom, plucked for 1 year. Now he's going out to make another hire. That's what you do. It's not the school's decision. It's that individual's decision. So you put the safeguards in to protect the institution as much as you can. You make a good hire, and if you've got to do it again, you go do it again. Is it a bummer? Absolutely. Does it set your program back? Absolutely. But it's not your decision to make when somebody leaves. Go make a good hire. Mm-hmm. Have confidence that Ren will.
Yeah. You know, West Virginia right now is just getting bit in the butt in the way things even out. West Virginia had that incredibly long run with just 3 basketball coaches in a span of over 40 years. You go from 1978 when Gail Catlett was hired and 20 plus, then Gail's 22 or 23, and then Hugs 16, 17, and then throw the John Beeline middle in there as well. You go over 40 years where you had 3 coaches.
That's a good point. That's unusual.
Which is incredibly unusual. And we bring this stat up a bunch. The WV was the only school in the country that had the same football and basketball head coaches in the 1980s and in the 1990s. No other school did that. So doesn't make it any easier to what you're going through right now, but you had a chunk, and now you just hope you can get back onto that side and get something here that's going to go long-term, which I think in today's world, long-term is probably 5 years, right? If 5 years probably the number. The 20s, I think, are probably long gone.
Yeah.
Probably. Lou Wendell Marine Sales celebrating its 40th year. Did you see that, Hoppy? 40. So with 40, so as a result of 40, they're taking that 4 and that 0, and they're giving away a 40 horsepower outboard Honda boat motor.
Boat motor.
Boat motor, not the whole boat, just the motor, an outboard motor, 40 horsepower. You can sign up absolutely free. All you have to do is go to their website, LouWendellMarineSales.com, LouWendellMarineSales.com. So if you could fancy yourself with an absolutely free Honda 40 horsepower outboard, check it out. It's part of their 40th year celebration.
Put that on my deck.
You could do that.
Save up to get the boat, but I'll start with the motor.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes when they check out boat motors, they put them in garbage cans, put the water in the garbage.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. We could do that on your back deck.
Oh, we could.
Get all your Adirondack chairs all wet.
Yeah.
We could do that. Let's do this.
So I checked the numbers.
Oh.
We'll just go right to the numbers. Here comes a heater.
Yeah. Let's jump into the spreads on stats. WV women trying to get to the Sweet 16.
Ready? 5, 4, 3.
Spreads on Stats is brought to us by Conley's CPA Group, providing value beyond numbers. Complete service, public accounting, and consultation firm, serving clients throughout West Virginia and surrounding states. Just like Lou Wendell, they're in their 40th year. 40th anniversary is this year. Locally based, experienced accountants. They can outsource your accounting if you'd like. In other words, you don't want to do it in the house, in the business, just outsource it to them. They can also outsource your CFO services. So Brad will give us the detailed breakdown on WVU against North Carolina for the right to go to the Sweet 16. The WV women looked incredibly impressive against Columbia on Saturday, just played their game. I don't have any of Brad's high analytics, but I did find it interesting that despite being on Carolina's home floor tonight, West Virginia is a slight favorite, 1.5 favorite.
I'm my West Virginia is boiling up. I'm already worried about the whistle, just as a West Virginian.
Well, you're checking all the boxes today. He's diving into personnel and NIL payments. Now he's mad at officials. The game hadn't even started. You're just come right on over.
His best thing is
on over.
His best thing is to get a player to sign without a head coach.
That was good.
That was a good one.
Well, that's also probably pretty indicative of the times. That could happen.
As crazy as stuff is right now, it could happen. Who knows? No.
Well, I didn't say so. I just said start making the inquiries. He's available. He's in the portal as of this morning.
I would think. I mean, that's great of you. The assistants in the portal talent, excellent, Hoppy. I'm pretty sure they're aware. Whoever they is.
Who is they?
Whoever they is. I'm fairly sure they are aware of that particular entry.
Well, I just
and
wanted
as
to
we've
know.
told you many times, Hoppy, just because the official announcement comes that the portal is open doesn't mean that's the first notice of the portal.
Wait a minute. Are you saying?
And I don't mean that specific to McNeely. In general, there's.
Are you saying that
portal.
some young men may be contacted prior to the official opening of the portal on a certain date?
Portal things are happening 365.
I think that's exactly what he's
Is that
saying.
a fair point?
Yes, exactly.
By the way, Tenner's in the portal too. You saw that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Hoppy.
Thank
you, Hoppy.
Hey, Hoppy. At this
Thank
point,
you, Hoppy. Thank you.
at this point, there's nothing you could say that will surprise me anymore. Like I'm at the point now, I'm going like, oh, really? Okay, fine, got it.
I just thought you guys would all of a sudden. I'm like following the portal. You know,
We do. That's why I said I appreciate that.
But you guys are like, okay, catch up, Hoppy.
We started in July last year. Now thank you.
Yeah, it's been out there for months, literally.
What?
Just who's going, who's not going.
All of it.
All of it.
All of it.
All right.
Numbers.
All right.
No, we're not saying
No,
stop.
it's not an
Enjoy
attack
it.
on you. It's very good. I'm glad you're on board. We're saying welcome.
It's out there. You hear numbers. You hear what the number's going to be to keep a player. You hear what the number's going to be to get a player. I mean, it's just nonstop.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And you don't have
No,
to
you don't have to be sorry.
apologize.
It's good.
I'm just letting you know that's just the world that we're in.
So you're saying we should contact Isaac McNeely?
I'm saying you're probably going to have a lot of open roster spots. So some young men that would like to play here at the flagship university of the state that are proven winners and can play would absolutely love to have all those young men join the program, Hop.
There you go. Okay, very good.
15 spots to fill.
I think I did his game at the state tournament. Maybe I'll contact
Yeah, you
him.
did.
You did.
You did.
Thank you. Glad I remember what games you did. Yes.
One of the all-time great elevations on his jump shot.
Maybe the greatest.
Oh, he's
Jerry West I mean, that Jerry West elevation where he just absolutely springs.
I first saw that hop to at a state tournament. It jumped out to me. I said the person I was standing next to when he did it, I said, that's the single highest jump shot I've ever seen in term off the and remember, I've spent time with Ray Allen. Ray Allen was an elite jumper. Isaac McNeely's could be a state champion high jumper if you just put the bar under where he is on the jump shot. Yeah. And by the way, he's had a great career.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't mean this to be an Isaac McNeely podcast here, but he had a great career at Virginia.
You know what his shooting percentage is from 3-point?
Go ahead. Hop.
If you know, go.
Go ahead.
42%. 42% from 3.
Gonna make a lot of money.
I'm where he had a nice year.
Averaging 15 points a game.
He's gonna make a lot of money.
He had a very nice year.
I'm just discovering all this.
he will command a nice number on the open market that he has just apparently entered into.
As of this
per
morning.
Hoppy.
He'll be 700 plus.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he will.
Well, you got to have players. I mean, somebody's got to make. I mean, probably in the NIL world, you'll have a player. I mean, depending on how you do your budget, that somebody's going to make 700, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Somebody's.
Yeah.
If you're going to be good, somebody's.
Some bodies are going to make 700.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be good.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I got.
You've had a lot.
Well, most of it's emotion, but Brad's got the stats.
So, all right, we ready?
What hit you in the head here about this?
Carolina, it's a really interesting game, I think, because if you go down a bunch of stats, and I won't bore you with all of them, really evenly matched from a statistics standpoint here, and I'll get into a couple of them here that we'll talk about, but Carolina very good, 17-5 on its home court this season, incredibly balanced, 6 players with 250 plus points on the season. All 6 of those players have been used offensively on 300 plus possessions. So it's not just people balanced scoring, it's balanced usage. Well, I lie. 5 on 300 plus, 1 at 298, which will tick over early in today's game. So I went ahead and just pushed ahead there, Tony. Thank you.
That's sure.
Yeah.
Kind of like the old neighborhood play in baseball that's now outlawed. Hoppy, you know what that is?
No.
The old neighborhood play when
What's
you're
that?
the second baseman or shortstop and you're turning a double play and they flip you. You could be in the neighborhood of the bag. You didn't have to drag your foot across the bag.
Right. Yeah,
so I got in the neighborhood there is what I was doing.
It works.
Thank you, Hoppy. Thank you. 5 of those players have made 100 plus field goals on the year. The 6th has 81 field goals made, with more than half of those being 3. They have 4 players better than 34% from 3. Now, they don't just sit and bomb 3, so you're going to have to defend inside and outside. They have a very nice mix of players. Stylistically, a couple things to watch. Excellent spot-up shooters, top 15 nationally in points per possession. Excellent in the pick and roll. It will mostly be the ball handler doing the scoring out of the pick and roll. They're top 10% nationally in that. Defensively, only 6 opponents have shot better than 43% from the field on them. Conversely, or in addition, only 1 has shot better than 50% from the floor. That surprised me a little bit.
30-second timeout. You said only 6 teams have shot over 40 against them the entire year?
Over more than 43%.
Oh, 43%.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so a number to watch there. In 5 of West Virginia's 7 losses, it had a field goal percentage below 43%. Mm-hmm. So what happens in that particular number if you want to watch that? From 3-point range, Carolina shoots 22 per game on average and makes 34%. West Virginia shoots 22 per game and makes 33%. Really easy. 3 of West Virginia's last 4 opponents have shot better than 40% from 3. But you know what? West Virginia's 3-0 in those games.
Why?
Kind of a weird stat. West Virginia 5-1 in games in which the opponent shoots better than 40% from 3.
So they must.
That's an aberration. Because the points off turnover is the thing with West Virginia.
Yeah.
That balances out a lot of stats that would normally hold.
I'd like to know what the opponent's shooting in 2-point shots on those days where they're shooting over 40 from 3.
I could give it to you, but I can't right now. Carolina, when it shoots it well from 3, is good. 9-1 when it's 40% or better from 3, which that holds for a lot of teams if you're in that percentage. Here's West Virginia's advantages tonight. Here's what you're watching. WVU gets a steal on 20% of its opponent's possessions. Oh. That's in the 100th percentile.
Pretty good.
You can't do any better.
Is that good?
Yeah, that's good.
Carolina gets a turnover or a steal, specifically a steal, on 12% of its possessions in the 62 percentile. So you should have your advantage there, which if there's a place for West Virginia to have an advantage, you want it in that one. Here, this is wild, though. There were 3 opponents that had 10-plus steals against the Tar Heels. 3, okay?
Okay.
Duke did it twice. Had 12 in their most recent game against North Carolina, which was a Duke win. Had 16 steals against Carolina earlier this year, but Carolina won. How bummed out is Duke? He had 16 steals in a game and lost the game. West Virginia had 26 games in which it had 10-plus steals this season. It averaged 13.5, so that would make sense, or almost 14 per game. Only twice in the last 6 games, though, has West Virginia had 10-plus steals. So that's always something to watch with this team. When it creates steals, that generally leads to those points off turnovers, where West Virginia has been plus 10 points per game on the season. So that's something to watch. Hoppy,
yes.
To your nerves about the officials.
Yes.
Carolina doesn't get to the free throw line much.
Oh, boy. That's always a famous.
So prepare yourself on Thursday. I'll be in saying, I can't believe this outlier. They had a free throw attempt rate of 98%. Prepare yourself.
27 attempts to West Virginia's 7.
17th percentile nationally for Carolina in free throw attempt rate. They do not get to the line. Just 24% on that number. West Virginia much higher than that, almost 6% higher in the 72nd percent nationally. So to your point, and I know you were only partly joking there, but truly watch the whistle. And I don't mean that just because it's at Carolina, but in NCAA tournament games, you always have questions about the whistle. And from a West Virginia perspective, it's doubled because you do get to the free throw line and get your points, and you do create a lot of steals. And when you create steals, there's going to be swiping and banging and physicality and reaching and poking. Like officials down in Chapel Hill, just go ahead and swallow the whistle. You're allowed to poke. You're allowed to rake. You're allowed to get in there. Don't be blowing the whistles every 2 seconds.
There was 2 things. I still have PTSD from the Iowa game last year, right?
You know
what happened there. And then I watched a lot of high school basketball down the last 2 weeks of the tournament, and I thought the officials, and that's tough, the officials do for the most part, did a really good job of letting them play and not just calling all ticky-tack stuff. It's going to be physical, and only when you had a significant advantage, disadvantage. So I hope they let them play.
Last 2 things. So that's what you're watching. Steals, points off turnovers, which is no surprise with West Virginia. And then what's happening at the line. Who's getting there? If you see Carolina getting there, that's a problem because they just don't normally do it. Couple players to watch. Number 20, 6'1" guard, Lexi Donarski.
Guard?
Yeah, 6'1" guard. They've got size, too. She's a shooter, 41% from 3. Deadly from the top of the key 3, 47%.
Oh. Cow.
Near 50% from top of the key 3.
That's
so
astounding.
pay attention and watch her. Inside, they've got a post, 6'3". I'll probably screw up the name, Maria Gakdang. How about this? This is a good number. Tony, you ready? When I say she scores exclusively inside, I mean it literally. She takes 98.3% of her shots in the lane. 98.3. Broadening her offensive game, has taken 5 jump shots in the last 10 games, has not made one. Gets to the line a lot, nearly 50% free throw rate.
Oh, that name was kind of difficult to look at last night. I was looking at them, so I went to their pronouncer. You did a
I get
nice
it right?
job.
Was that close?
It's really weird. It's almost like you're going to swear. It's
Gakdang.
It's Gakdang.
Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay, so
is it?
Yeah,
Gakdang?
Gakdang.
Good.
Keep her off the block.
So you're going to
Push her out of the lane.
So you got
Push
a
her
handle
out.
in the post. You're going to get some shots. And again, they're very balanced. When you look at their heat chart from a shooting perspective, there's a lot of red around 3. There's a lot of red mid-range. They get it inside the lane. This is a challenge.
So what does Coach Keller do? I mean, you got to pick your poison here, right? You can't defend everything. What do you do?
You're going. First of all, you're going to apply pressure, and you're going to hope to speed them up and get them out of the game. You're going to give up some shots. You're going to give up some 2s, and they're probably going to get some open 3s. You just try and limit that, right? And when you settle into your half court and they go into the post, that's why you've increased your size this season. That's a direct result of playing in the Big 12. So it's not like you haven't seen really talented post players.
You've seen big 5s.
You challenge on the catch, and then you rake down, but you got to be careful on who the shooters are. You rake down on some of the shooters that aren't good from outside, and you go play.
Okay.
Go play. So there you go. I
What
have a lot more, but I'll leave it at that.
are you
That's really
feeling?
good.
I think this will be a really good game. This is balanced. This is 2 good teams.
That's what I think too. I think this really balanced. I mean, the line is the line is the line. It's a 1-point game, so flip a coin, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like who is going to have the night where they're more efficient.
Yeah.
Like you cannot have an off night guarding. You cannot have an off night missing open looks uncovered shots. You got to make shots. So who's going to do it? Who's going to be cleaner?
Whose strength comes through? This is a team in Carolina that doesn't turn it over very much. They're like in the 99th percentile in turnover. So which of the good on good comes through? West Virginia's ability to force a ton or Carolina's ability to not do it? Which of those comes through? That's the first thing to watch, and then you can start going down the list of keys.
Advanced-wise, I wonder how many teams they've played that have heated them up to the level of WV.
Well, very few, because
Right.
just very few do. Right? Very few are able to do that. But this is a smart, balanced team playing at home. So this is why you don't need weirdness. You don't need them being extremely hot from three. You don't need a bad whistle.
Right.
Just play the thing straight up.
Laying the groundwork for the whistle.
I'm just telling you what I'm doing coming in Thursday.
Little post-traumatic Iowa syndrome.
Spreads on Stats presented by Conley CPA will be about North Carolina's free throw attempt rate. Just mark it down.
Boy, they looked good on Saturday. WVU did.
Looked real good.
They were having
Overwhelmed
fun.
them.
JJ Quinterly was having fun. They all were having fun.
Lined up.
Yeah.
What a job he's done, Kellogg.
Yeah.
Helps have good players, too, but, I mean, he's done a great job.
Yeah.
They're just constructed so well, too. I mean, yes, there's an element of, and luck's probably not the right word because you had to work to keep JJ around, but you keep JJ really remarkable. She stays through 3 coaching changes. An All-American Defensive Player of the Year player stays for 3. And then you've matched around her extremely well with different pieces. Jordan Harrison has come in. Talk about a great compliment. You can take Quinterly off the ball, and you have an elite point guard in Jordan. And then you have, and we do this all the time, and we say it every time. I probably can stop giving the disclaimer. Kaya Watson doesn't get enough attention for what she does. You talk about ultimate glue and the ability to do different things. And here's, guys, we say this all the time, and I think it's important to remember as we get a men's basketball coach named and you're in the portal finding players, match in style of play and system is so critical. She's a great match. Like if you watch her, she's somebody I would pay admission to just watch her run. Like if she was on the track team, I'd go, okay, let's watch. Like there's certain people that bounce and glide when they run, right? David Saunders was one in football. I always remember, like I used to like to watch him after practice on the sideline gasser sprints. They just glide and she glides and can move laterally. She's a great fit for this system. So Mark's done a great job of taking what he had and then building around it with a great fit and a great matching of personality and player.
Absolutely. Mountaineer baseball team had an incredibly memorable weekend series with Arizona. Back on Friday night, WV falls behind and then rallies. And the game becomes the longest home game in WVU history. 16 innings.
Wow.
It went 5+ hours. It wasn't done until after midnight. West Virginia, with great opportunities, I think 11th, 13th, and 15th inning, all had runners on base and couldn't bring someone home. And they lose that game 6-4. And then Saturday afternoon, again, Arizona took the early lead, and then West Virginia lit it up and put 11 on the board and won that game. So you're tied at a game apiece. You go into yesterday's game, and West Virginia just had one of those days that happens in baseball. Skylar King was like really close to a grand slam home run early in the game. He whacked the ball a couple of times, and it was just one of those days where you just couldn't get the bounce, the roll that you needed, the extra foot or 2 feet that you needed. West Virginia, they were up.
Yeah, we're leading late in the game.
4-3,
Yes.
I think. 7?
I think so. 6 or 7, but
Yeah,
yes.
and it looked like, okay, just
Hang in there.
hang in there, duck through a couple more of these things, you're going to get the series, but
Yeah.
it didn't happen. They exploded, and they put 11 up. I think it was 11-5. And so all of that shakes in and out, and you end up playing 2 of the preseason favorites. Oak State, 1 game. Arizona, 3 games. You're 2-2 against 2 of the top teams in the conference. And now this week you've got Marshall on Tuesday here, and then next weekend coming up, you go to BYU, and obviously you don't know what you're going to get there, fingers crossed weather-wise, because 2 weeks ago it was snow. So then you go to BYU, and just a really good team. The one thing you take away from this weekend, these guys have tremendous fight. They do not quit. They battle every single at-bat. So really fun. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think this will be a good season. It'll continue to be a good season. It already has been, obviously. I think this is going to be a fun team to watch.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Did you have something over there, Hoppy?
Yeah, I've been checking daily the Cardinals, Major League Baseball Cardinals box score, and I haven't seen Weatherholt in the lineup or getting at-bats, although I did a few weeks ago. So is he, already pushed to the minors, do you know? Or is he...
What's going on there with that?
Anybody know?
Well, I don't know. I haven't looked, but he was just drafted.
Yeah, no, but he was playing.
I mean, don't say already pushed to the minors.
All right, well, phrase it for me, that he was...
Well, it takes a while to get to the bigs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I would be surprised if he doesn't start the year in the minors and then has to produce and come through.
All right, I'm just asking. I just saw he was getting at-bats early.
Yeah, but that's normal when they just want to give those guys a taste, see what they do. But yeah, it would be very unusual for him to make that leap that quick.
But he produced in the short season last year. He goes in and produces again this year. It won't be long before he's up. High draft pick, just like Manoah was, right? When you got Manoah up quickly, didn't have a lot of innings in the minors, so that'd be the hope.
How'd you like to save 20 cents a gallon in gas? You heard it right. Save 20 cents off a gallon of gas. All you have to do is download the GoMart app. And as soon as you get there, you'll see this. It says play to earn 20 cents off a gallon of gas when you play the game Domino Dreams. So literally, you play a video game on their app, first-time players, and you get 20 cents off a gallon. Super simple to do. All you have to do is download the app from the App Store, or you can just go to the website at gomart.com. That's gomart.com. Plus, you got all these other things in there. You got 200 bonus points for buying Gushers if you're a Gusher person. How about a jumbo honey bun and Donettes? 2 for $4.50. Pop-Tarts.
What? Hold on. I'm sorry. Back up. What?
A jumbo honey bun from Hostess.
What'd you say before that?
The Gushers.
No, before that. Did you say donuts? Were those in there?
Yeah, Donettes.
Donettes.
D-O-N-E-T-T.
Those little donut things?
They are, little chocolate ones. You buy that, and you get a honey bun, too, for $4.50. Buy one, get one on Pop-Tarts. 2 for $5 Gatorades, 28 ounces. I mean, what in the heck do you want more in life?
I like those little donuts.
I figured you would, because it doesn't feel as guilty going down when you're pounding those donuts.
You saw me rooting through the snack bin and basketball trips, pulling those bad boys out.
Yeah, you did.
Now they're at Gomart. On sale? Is that what you just said?
Yeah, just get the app and you're in business. Plus 20 cents off a gallon. All you got to do is play a video game.
I'm not going to use a card to get my gas here in a little bit, Kirchhoff. I might.
For all you folks out there who've been yelled at.
Donuts.
Donuts?
Yeah,
Donuts.
I'm sorry, I was working. I was doing something.
For all that have been yelled at, you'll never make your living playing video games, right? How many kids have heard that? Well, now you can play one, and you get 20 cents off a gallon. You can run back and say, hey, I did save money by doing that. Yeah?
You know, one of the aggravating things about this job, this part-time job, about all these things is you spend, in coaching searches in particular, you spend 80% of your time, 80% of your energy refuting or trying to track down stuff that isn't right, that's out there on social media. You know, it's just, so you just waste everybody's time. Like there's a fake account out there that Calhoun is the next head coach, and it's got all the WVU stuff behind it. It looks official. But I just double checked. It's a fake. But
no. Why don't you just check with Thamel?
Man, you cut me real deep right there.
I'm just telling you.
We'll know soon. All right, next. We'll know soon.
Just telling you. Before the show started today, Hoppy was walking out the door, and our producer Jake was coming in and crashed into the door, slammed into Hoppy's hand, and he went back. He didn't fall. I mean,
surprised that doesn't happen more though.
Yeah, because it's a pretty big.
Yeah.
Probably should put some sort of
on-air
mini window or an on-air, even a mini
on air. Why don't we have an on-air light?
Well, you weren't on air when you got hit, so why wouldn't have solved that particular
Hoppy,
problem?
That's a fair point.
The old days you used to have those windows in broadcast doors.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a little hole. You'd look in there. Are they coming in? Anyway, my point to all that is this: that Hoppy was just doing his thing, right? He was just walking out the door. Sometimes in our lives, you don't know when you will be the victim of something that changes your life. In all seriousness, not getting run into by a door, but like a catastrophic injury. You're driving down the road and something horrific happens. Your life is changed. The folks at Jan Dills, attorneys at law, are personal injury experts. If you or someone that you know has been involved in a personal injury in which you need legal help, That is what they do. They do it here in West Virginia, based in Parkersburg. They do it literally all over the country. So if you or someone that you know has dealt with a catastrophic, life-changing event, contact the folks at Jan Dills, attorneys at law. Here he goes. He's making a move. Do you see that? Uh-oh.
Soccer coach getting ready to be hired?
Junior got a little something. Phone's working. He went through the door safely that time. But Jan Dills, attorneys at law, they're the ones that you want protecting you because they will not take no for an answer. Jan Dills, attorneys at law. Let's do some textual healing. Get in. Sure, guys, before the game, Textual Healing is our line to you to open up and let us know what you're thinking. The number is 304-404-4083. It is brought to us by episode800.com, episode800.com. That is our place where we got all of our stuff, from apparel to our coffee to the popcorn. Early stages, we're in the fine folks at Mountaineer Popcorn putting together something special for baseball season. What?
Well, I think that was a business meeting that was not intended for podcast content. You did it. That's a long way from being done. It was in the infancy stage of ideas, and you just put it out there 4 seconds later. It's not done.
Yeah, but I'd say we got about 99% chance of most of these things happening. So as a result of that, I think that we're on our way to...
Hoppy steps out for 30 seconds. Tony blows another product idea. That's all right. Hoppy's back. Let's go.
What you got, Scooter? What'd you run off the studio for?
Well, again, part of what you do is you chase down things that are inaccurate. I mean, the thing that got out there was out there by somebody and made it look like, oh, Calhoun's the next coach. That is not accurate. That is, I mean, he could be, but he hasn't been hired as the next coach. He could be. He's one of those that you would think is in that list. And then there was another social post that said that Ren Baker is in Orlando. He's not in Orlando. So, again, I'm exhausted. I'm not doing this anymore.
Have you ever heard that coaching search stories are the hardest to follow?
I think I've said that. Maybe you said that.
Yeah,
Somebody. I mean, it's just
they are. Yeah, you could definitely chase your tail.
Pete Samuel. He doesn't. Gets it right.
Pete probably chased a few. Pete could probably tell some stories of being taken one road down the other.
I would imagine what Pete has that I don't have, a lot of people don't have, is access to agents.
Yeah, and athletic directors, and presidents, and conference commissioners,
and coaches.
All right.
What?
Go ahead. Move on.
Andrew from Matewan.
What?
Nothing. Move on.
Andrew from Matewan, in your guys' opinion, what makes a great basketball coach in today's era? Is it the ability to recognize and recruit skill in different areas to have a well-rounded team year to year, or is it the ability to draw plays, get players to run the plays that you like? Before the portal days, I'd say ability to develop players, but the portal has changed that, in my opinion.
Yes and yes. All of it.
But we've also, over the years, we've seen teams that have great. We always say you obviously need players, but we've seen teams, Brad, with great players that don't get it done. So I think DeVries had a great template. You don't have you got good resources, not unlimited resources, but you had great X's and O's and great effort.
It's all of those things, and I say that from this reason. You have got to have elite talent. If you don't, it becomes really hard to get deep. So you've got to have elite. And that doesn't mean all 8 guys that play have to be elite, but you've got to have a couple. And we've said, Tony, how many years have we been saying that now, the formula? You got to have at least 3 guys that are going to make money playing, make high-end dollars. NBA guys if you want to win a national championship. Pros at other areas if you want to go deep. You've got to have that. But you also have to have somebody where these teams are too good and coaches are too good in this league. You can't roll balls out. You can't just roll balls out and say, go get them.
Yeah.
So you've got to have somebody that can manage the X and O's and be very good there. And I do think, I understand the texter's point about developing players, and I think development in the old sense of the word is not what it once was, but I do think you can take guys, even that have played a number of games in the college level, and develop throughout the year, and you've got to make them better throughout the year. And I will say Javon Small is in that category. Javon Small was an elite basketball player when he arrived. And he grew into a role that was even better. Like, he had to do things that he hadn't always done. He developed into not just a really good basketball player, to one of the best in the country. So I think development is important all the way around.
Hansberry. How about Hansberry's development?
That's a great example. Yes. So all of those guys. So I think all, not to be flippant to the answer there, but all of it matters.
Mm-hmm.
And the more of each of them you have, the better your upside is, or the better chance you have to advance deep.
Yeah,
There's my opinion.
Yeah, but you have to start with something strong to begin with, right? I mean, you can have the greatest skill developer in the world, and if you just don't have the absolute basics to be successful, you're not going to be able. I mean, guy that runs 4.9 is never going to run 4.4. So you have to have the ability to get. It might not be a finished product, but you've got to be close enough. One thing we've done, we talked about this a little bit in the last couple of weeks, is that we are partnering with WVU Cancer Institute as they get ready for their Day of Caring. I just want to give this a little shout out because I don't think I did a good enough job explaining it. I didn't do a good enough job explaining exactly what's going to happen. So let's do this real quick. Dr. Hannah Hazard Jenkins is the executive chair and director of the WVU Cancer Institute, and she joins us here on Three Guys. Hi, Hannah. How are you?
Hi, I'm well. Thank you. How are you?
We're doing well. Trying to find a basketball coach. Got any suggestions? What do you think?
Yeah, you don't want me for that job.
Okay. All right. She stays in her lane, right? She's smart. She stays
Oh,
in
yeah,
her lane.
for sure.
Yeah. So, hey.
I'll cheer it on in the stands without any problem.
I know.
But beyond that, I'm pretty useless.
I know.
I don't know. I think actually most games have about 10,000 people who can coach.
Well, that's just part of the deal.
Yeah.
So
That's a very true statement.
I did. We kind of talked about what's coming up. I wanted to get you on. Walk us through. We're partnering with you guys, Connection 304, through the Cancer Institute. Tell me what our folks need to know as we get ready for this date.
So the Day of Giving, which is coming up on March 26th, is about returning back to the university philanthropic funds that help us meet the goals, the missions, and the purpose of the university. And in particular for the Cancer Institute, we really identified a couple of funds we would like targeted donations to, and one of those is Connection 304. And this is a fund that allows us to channel these resources to sort of the most urgent priorities of the Cancer Institute as it builds towards NCI designation, as it builds our network of Cancer Institute sites around the state and region, which allows us to provide coordinated cancer care for the patients of our region.
Mm-hmm. And so what can our folks do if they want to get involved?
So if you want to get involved, on the Day of Giving, you would find the WVU Cancer Institute page. And then on that page are three options for donation. So Connection 304. And part of this fund has in the past used money to help support local hospitals partnering with farmers to provide sustainable, high-quality food to patients diagnosed with cancer. But that's just one of the few things that we've done in the past and would perpetuate moving forward. But we also have a program called Soup for the Soul. So we feed in Morgantown all of the patients that are in the infusion chairs around the lunch hour. And so that supports that program. And then obviously our mobile lung cancer bus or unit called Lucas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So those are the three funds, depending on, a person's interest in what they want to support, they could pick. There's a lot of flexibility with the Connection 304. And we really are looking at advancing programs that not only enhance the quality of life for those that are being treated currently for cancer, but then also those that live long beyond that for our survivors, want to be able to provide resources and enhance their quality of life as well.
Doctor, I think what you're doing is really important because it's not just about, somebody comes to the hospital, they get cancer treatment, then they go home, and then they come back. I mean, you're talking about a more holistic approach to people who are dealing with cancer.
100%. So, I mean, a cancer center is more than, or should be more than, diagnose a cancer, treat a cancer. It's an earth-shattering event for a patient, for sure. But as we know, our community, our Appalachian community, our West Virginians are very centered on family and their local community. And so when a cancer diagnosis happens, it sort of rocks the world of the families, the friends, the community in which that person lives. And if we ignore the ripple effect, so to speak, of a diagnosis, then we really aren't doing a good job of enhancing quality of life, and not just quantity, but quality of life for those diagnosed and those around them.
Yeah. Well, listen, you're doing an unbelievable job over there, and we just wanted to, again, highlight it, give it attention. So we're recording on 24, so it's this coming Wednesday, the 26th, and we ask folks if they feel driven to do that, to make a contribution, and it does. It pays off unbelievable dividends. So we wish you guys the very best. Thanks, Hannah, for joining us. We do appreciate it.
Oh, I very much appreciate everything you all are doing.
You bet. Take care.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Yep. There she is.
Bye-bye.
Dr. Hannah Hazard-Jenkins, Executive Chair, Director of WVU's Cancer Institute. And again, that is coming up on Wednesday.
They are, Tony, I'm doing some work now with WV Medicine, and I've gotten to know a lot more about what they're doing there. It's really amazing. I mean, what has happened over the last 10, 12 years there, and how they have expanded their level of care in so many different areas, and also not just at that hospital, but in building the network and reaching out in the communities. I think they're doing a fantastic job of trying to improve the health care and the overall health of West Virginians.
Text line.
Yeah.
Glenn, enough of the conspiracy theories, HawkFan912, TikTok bans. It's time for the annual transition of the podcast from WV Sports to food. Taking your advice, I've started San Marzano tomatoes from seed. I recall you advising about the soil over the years. What growing tips do you have to help? And yes, the plants look better now that they're standing upright. There they are.
Oh.
Early.
They're on it.
Early. Early on. I got nothing for you. As far as positive suggestions, it looks like you're doing great.
Yeah.
Looks like you're doing great. Sun and water.
You got to keep the rabbits out of. No,
yeah.
Put them out.
Absolutely. Texter, until further notice, I will be getting my Morgantown road updates from Pete Thamel. Kevin in Princeton writes, the last episode should have a disclaimer for danger. I was all over the road on the way to work laughing at the paving discussion debacle. I almost drove off into a ditch when Brad finished with, worst update in the history of updates. Poor Hoppy. Shout out to the person who sent that question in, an all-timer rant. Love the show. Kevin in Princeton.
I was driving back from Charleston after doing the high school games this weekend, as I'm sure you were, and was anxiously awaiting your road update this weekend. You can just say all of them. You don't have to try and say 857 or just say all of them.
Yeah, there's some bad areas.
Yeah.
We should talk about the tournament a little bit.
We will.
Well, high school tournament?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a nugget too when you get a chance. But go ahead. I got later.
You're with us for the whole show.
Yeah.
Well, maybe. He already got up and left once.
I had to do something.
Yeah.
Live show.
Let me also do this. Speaking of this, Kevin in Princeton said an all-timer rant. So let me. I'll try once, and that'll be it, to put something into context. And that was from the last show. And when I went off on conspiracy theories.
Mm-hmm.
So I've taken taken some good blasts.
Oh.
And basically, here's my thought. So what I said has now been turned into that I'm calling all the fans dumbasses. Let me try to put in context one time what I probably didn't do a great job of saying. Here's what I was saying. They shut down Taylor and the deal was done, Tucker, in the Bahamas I said, absolutely not. Don't buy it for a second. So then I stepped aside and I just went into conspiracy theories in general.
Right.
And I said, I listen to people's conspiracy theories. So the context wasn't anything to do with WVU. I'm talking about the world is hollow, that aliens built Stonehenge, that Elvis is still alive. I was talking about those kinds of like crazy conspiracy theories. And I said, those people are dumbasses. So to try to say what I'm calling West Virginia fans dumbasses, that's not the case at all. It was a different topic of conspiracy theories that I was talking about. So if you were taken aback by that, that was not the context that I was giving that in. And I stay with the whole Bahamas shut down because everything was done. Like, no, not buying that a bit. But as far as the other thing where I just said conspiracy theory, like the crazy stuff, that's what I was talking about.
I understand, Tony. I appreciate your clarification, and I understood what you were saying. And you would never denigrate West Virginia fans. And I think you guys are very close to the program, but also for guys who are close to the program, you're very candid and honest in your evaluations. And if Tucker DeVries had been shut down because the deal was done that DeVries was going to go to Indiana and this was just to protect him for that year, you all would know. You would know that. That's not something you could keep secret. You would know that. And even if you weren't comfortable reporting that, somehow I would hear about it from you guys or from somebody, and it would. So I rely on your all's reporting on that because you were around the team and the coach all season. You would have heard. That would have been whispered. Correct?
Yeah. And in hindsight now, you know, I think it was the last episode. No, 2 episodes ago was an all-timer. I mean, couldn't have named that episode better because the more I think about this, absolutely floored with what happened. Mm-hmm. You talk about not seeing it coming. All time.
Yeah.
And it will impact me going forward. Can't believe it. Simply can't.
The further we get away from it, the more I can't believe it.
Yes, that's what I went through that this weekend.
And I said that. I mean, the name of the episode came because I sent a tweet out right after it happened. It just said an all-timer, and I have not changed my thought on that. The more I've thought about things over the last 6, 8, 9 months, I'm still flabbergasted. So.
Well, Ren Baker he might not have been floored, but he felt like the athletic department, correct me if I'm wrong, felt like they could keep DeVries. They felt like they were putting things in place that he would be satisfied to stay here. If they made a mistake, guys, it was probably to not be aware of or underestimate DeVries' interest, lifelong interest perhaps, in being at Indiana.
See, I disagree with that. I'll push back on that because this wasn't everything's great, we're not talking, we haven't had conversations, this is great. All of a sudden, oh my God, he left for Indiana. There's been daily conversation about the direction of the program from day one all the way through the minute in which Darren said, I'm leaving. This wasn't a stop-start process. This is an ongoing, continuing process of it. So there wasn't, again, Darren was very aware of where West Virginia stood and what it was willing to do and how much it liked having Darren DeVries as its head coach. I'll say that.
Okay.
This wasn't a stopgap process where you had to scramble and come up with, oh my God, he might be leaving. It wasn't that necessarily.
John in Philadelphia, hello, I'm on my evening walk feeling down about the Mountaineers. That leads me to turn
Hold on, let me clarify that because that'll end up in 3 different videos that aren't correct. I think there was surprise at the level of interest in Indiana at the very end.
Okay.
But the conversations about the support that West Virginia was willing to provide and where it was willing to get to and what it was trying to get to had never ceased and had always been ongoing. There was a wide open flow of information and communication going both ways, from program to here's what we need and program back, and it wasn't adversarial. It was working in concert together. Is that a better way to say that?
I think that's the point.
Is that a more clarified way to say that?
100%. And I think, as you said, the black swan was the level of interest in Indiana.
Yes.
That was the thing
Yes.
that you had no idea the level of interest in Indiana.
If there was something missed, was it that he was at the top of the list at Indiana?
I don't know if he was on the top of the list initially. He became the top of the list.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. He became the top of the list. Right.
Okay, there we go. Go ahead.
I'm on my evening walk. I'm feeling down about the Mountaineers. That leads me to turn to three guys hoping for comedic relief about basketball. I cross the bridge above the Schuylkill River. I begin to question everything, even life itself. Suddenly, we get an update from Hoppy on the 857, 119, or whatever the heck the dang road that's getting fixed. Such a classic and funny update that reminds me it's not all so bad. Let's go, Mountaineers. Ready to root for a new coach.
Thank you, John.
Anthony from Bridgeport, now in Pittsburgh. I just returned from travel, listened to Searching Again episode. I feel the need to scold you guys and Mountaineer Nation as I'm very frustrated. Don't get me wrong. I got to know Darren just a little bit. I think he was a good guy, great coach. I'm disappointed he's gone. Any of us would do the same thing in our jobs for whatever we thought was a good professional and family opportunity. We're so quick to judge. But if our coaches or teams behaved the way we are right now, we would be up in arms. Is no excuses work harder real, or isn't it? Is the blue-collar, hard-hat, lunch pail what we are about in West Virginia or not? I've never heard so much whining, all this questioning about whether we're a legit program, complaining we don't have the money. It's crap. Figure it out. Other current potential coaches and players hear that nonsense. Can you imagine if Darren did that when Tucker was hurt, or Rich Rod when we drew Georgia for the Sugar Bowl in 06? Stop it. We've got no freaking idea how much money we have the ability to raise until we try. Do you know how much money $10 a month times even 100,000 Mountaineers is? $12 million a year. If you don't like the new era, fine, don't give, but stop watching, stop complaining. We are where we are, and we can win. Get back in the game, stop being a spectator, no excuses, move on, act like we are the top program that we are. Anthony from Bridgeport. Got a lot there, and every time he used the word R, he just spelled R, didn't write A-R-E.
Just use R.
Brevity.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you go. This is kind of neat. A cake, this is from Rusty, Monroe County. A cake my daughter had made for the NCAA tournament. She's an infectious disease pharmacist at Ruby. Just thought it might bring a little laugh out loud. March sadness.
Sure that.
Yep.
I laughed because I hurt. Oh, that's great.
No, we still got the women, though.
Yes, that's right.
Hope they make a run.
Yeah, be nice.
Texter, you guys, after the Utah basketball game at home this year, you had dinner with Angie and Brett Barthelmess, their daughter Meg, their future son-in-law Drew Knapp. I don't know if Drew told you his claim to fame at WVU.
Great dinner, by the way. Had a
Yeah,
blast.
fantastic.
Yeah. He was quite a baseball player, scored the winning run in the 2011 Maryland State title game. He didn't quite make the West Virginia team as a walk-on, but he played club instead. His first at-bat for the club team against Pitt, bottom of the seventh. That's all they played were 7 innings, 2 outs, bases loaded, bases juiced. West Virginia down 3. You guessed it. Drew hits a walk-off grand slam, thus securing his place in WVU sports history. Jack Fleming would have been proud, as I was. Signed by Andy in Brookville.
That's pretty good, Drew. We did not discuss that night.
Yeah.
But I may have that night. I mean, I didn't imbibe or anything, but that I might have committed for 3 guys to do something for Coach Green and the women's volleyball.
Yeah, I think you brought that up earlier. We're fine.
You
We'll
two
do
just
something.
out there throwing stuff out.
We're fine. We'll do
We
it.
love Coach Greeny, though. It might be worth doing.
Whatever it takes.
I said we'd have like
Probably in on that, too.
Okay, good.
3 guys before the game. Oh, dear. I lost my headset and my notes. Hang on a second. All right, do this. 3 guys
Because
before
you
the
have
game.
no idea what place you're in or where those pages, and they weren't in order anyway. So
Yeah, we're close. 3 guys
No
before the
idea.
game is brought to us by Tudor's Biscuit World. Start your day the homemade way with a Tudor's biscuit. Right now, they're rolling. If you got a hankering, check out Tudor's Biscuit. I was listening to the Mountaineer baseball game yesterday,
Yep.
and Tyler, doing the game with Lanny, he brought a Tudor's biscuit in for Lanny to have.
Oh.
just rolled right into the booth.
Just rolled in, and I don't think Lanny had ever had one. So here's the deal. If you're a Tudor's biscuit lover right now, you can buy one at regular price and get the second for $1. So the Dottie, the sausage biscuit, the Peppy, or the hash brown. Buy one, get one for $1. Visit Tudor's Biscuit World. Start your day the homemade way with a Tudor's biscuit. They're terrific.
Terrific.
Saw a lot of them down in Charleston this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
This is kind of wild. Everyone as a regular knows Charlie from Midlothian, the well-documented purveyor of great gas rewards points in the state of Virginia, right? But his brother was honored this weekend. Got to witness, he says, both of you guys got to witness one of my West Virginia connections at the state tournament Saturday night. This is a picture of my brother Dick, several other referees honored for their service. Dick had 30 years of officiating. So I guess they brought all the refs out there. You guys were there, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then there's an individual shot as well
Let's see.
of his brother, and he received an honor.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
You know, that officiating. He's pretty covered there, but if you could get a close look, his skin is like 2 inches thick.
Yeah, you got to be.
Officials with thick skin. I got it.
And his hearing doesn't hear very well.
That would help.
We had a good time down there.
Great time.
So
Great time.
congratulations to Tug Valley, was one of the champions. They beat Tucker County in Tug Valley. It was a really impressive win for them. Great run for Tucker County, but I was fortunate enough in the hotel, guys, to run into Wes from Columbus, big 3-guy listener. He was the uncle of Xander Lambert, who plays for Tucker County, so he was there. We had a nice chat in the motel, Tony, before headed over.
Yeah.
So thanks, Wes. Good talking with you, and thanks for listening.
I did the AA and AAA games, and for Wheeling Central, Eli Sancombe he's a player.
Mm-hmm.
He's a player. 6'4", handles the ball, Tony, like a point
Like
guard.
a coach's son.
Like a coach's son, which he is. His father, Danny, is a coach.
Yeah.
Coach at Calpia used to be the head coach at Wheeling.
Exactly.
Lots of success.
And had communications during the event with
Whoa, 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 whoa. Don't say that.
With me saying how good Danny Sancombe's son Eli is, Gatorade player of the year.
Gary played with it. Well, the coach I communicated with said it was no problem talking about it.
Can you do that now?
I don't know what you can and can't do. I don't think there's rules, but leave it to say Eli, very good
If
player.
the coach said that you can say it, then say it.
The coach, I used it on the broadcast.
Well, in that case, yeah, go to heck with it.
I mean,
yeah.
you know
we got
that-
guys making bags of money. You can say whatever you want to say.
Well, Zach Spiker, the coach of Drexel, friend of the program,
Right?
he had an assistant there,
Murph
Murph,
was there.
yeah,
Yeah.
to watch Sancombe.
Sure.
They're very interested in him. I
Oh,
don't see how that would be if you
Well,
can pay a guy $700,000, how would it be a violation to say the coach is interested in a particular player?
Well, it used to be a significant violation, but
Well,
nowadays,
used to.
yeah.
Eli put out on Twitter, Drexel has offered his first Division I offer, and there will be more following.
Oh, did they get an offer?
Well, sure, Hop. Coach Spiker likes him.
He's good. Well, don't say that.
I'm just saying that's.
Well, you know what? He's a good player.
Yeah, he had I looked at his box the last 2 games. He doubled.
Yeah, State's Player of the Year this year.
He
Oh, here you
doubled.
go. Here's a trivia. If he would win the Player of the Year next year, it would be the first time a player has won it twice since another Wheeling Central player.
Harler?
Yes. Chase Harler.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
I got another nugget when you're ready to.
Go. Nugget me.
This is from friend of the program, Larry Gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mountain Stage Larry Gross.
Yes. Gross texted me this. You'll love this. Always a West Virginia connection. Here's a bit of sports music trivia, said Larry. I thought you might enjoy. The Big 12 Conference Tournament MVP was Houston's Emmanuel Sharp. Emmanuel Sharp is the grandson of John Ellison, the singer-songwriter who was born near Montgomery, grew up in McDowell County, who wrote the song Some Kind of Wonderful.
Oh, my goodness.
No way.
That's what Larry said.
How about that? Did not know that.
Emmanuel's on fire against West Virginia in Houston.
He can shoot it.
So, and John Ellison, who, by the way, I've
A
interviewed.
couple
but
Manuel
that's-
Sharps out of the portal.
See,
That's
just
a great story.
just hear him name drop.
What do you say?
Well, John Ellison, of course, I've interviewed him.
Of course I
Yeah,
have.
big name drop.
Ellison is, John Ellison says that Emmanuel's a wonderful, unspoiled kid. That's nice to hear in today's world of entitled athletes. I'm rooting for Houston to go all the way. Always
That's a good one.
a West Virginia connection.
That's a good one. Did not know that. First I've heard of it.
McDowell County, you said?
Free State of McDowell County.
Wow.
John Ellison.
Think
And you
about-
know the song.
I know Some Kind of Wonderful.
So
That's
Ellison,
a great song.
The story.
I actually even know that song, and you two accuse me of not liking music.
He was on tour. This was obviously years and years ago. And a lot of people have done that song. He was on tour, and he was getting ready to leave on tour. And his female companion at the time, or his wife or girlfriend, somebody, made him a sandwich. And they're on the road, guys packed into a car on the road, and he gets hungry, and he pulls out this sandwich, and somebody says, "Where'd you get that sandwich?" I said, "Well, my girlfriend made it for me." He said, "That's Some Kind of Wonderful."
Yeah.
That's where it came about.
I
And now
like
that
it.
song's been covered by dozens and dozens of artists, including Grand Funk.
Think about that song, and then think about Bill Withers from Slab
Yeah.
Fork, West Virginia,
Yeah.
and the hits that he put together. It's pretty amazing.
West Virginia has an incredible, deep roster
Oh, yeah.
of people who've been successful musically for a small state.
Charles Wesley carrying that torch
Yes.
currently.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Hey, here's one.
Chuck,
Speaking of
Chuck, by the way, very active in the coaching search.
Is he?
He's been texting me a lot. Not happy of what's transpired, and is waiting with bated breath for the next coach. Not happy.
Is he out now? Is he out in the?
Yeah, they're
on tour?
working. Oh yeah, he's out in the weekends working. Yeah.
got this text. This is a good one. Is Emmett Matthews going to be the last player to play 4 years at WVU? And how fitting would it be that the last guy to do so, if that comes to fruition, entered the portal twice? So that's right? Emmett got 4 years in here, but was a 2-time portal player because he portaled to leave, portaled Washington to come back.
Well,
So you get a 4-year player, but was in the portal twice. That's a great text.
it's funny. It is funny, but to be honest with you, go back. Who's the last to play 4 consecutive years, and then put whomever that is? That might be a long time before you see that again.
Remember the stat. How many 4-year players were there in the Big 12 this year?
Like 7? 7, is that what it was?
7.
Yeah. How about the other crazy stat? The top 8 seeds in the tournament, 5 of the head coaches were 65 years of age or older.
Huh. That's a little surprising, isn't it?
Well, it tells you something, right? 1, they've hung on,
Yeah.
and 2, they've navigated through this new world. Rick Barnes is 70, right? Kelvin Sampson, Patino's 72.
Is he really?
Yeah. Izzo is post 65, among others. These guys are all over 65 years old. It's kind of wild.
It is. How old's Calipari?
He's 66.
Is that what you? Okay.
Yeah, he's 60. I looked him up the other day because I wanted to know what he was. He's 66. That was a heck of a deal. St. John's in Arkansas.
How about that?
So the SEC is high stepping. They've got 7 of their 14 teams in the Sweet 16, but by percentage, the Big 12 has more.
By percentage?
Yeah, Big 12 had 7 teams go in the tournament, right? 4 of them are in the Sweet 16. So by percentage, you've got a higher percentage of Big 12 teams.
I'm trying to not watch because I'm, West Virginia, and I'm still honked off and always will be. But I am checking scores. But I'm not watching.
I'm watching.
I know. Well, you guys love it. You guys should. I just
Soul-crushing loss for Colorado State. The way that they lost to go up with 6 seconds to go and then to lose. Those are the kind that if you're Maryland, like you'll always remember where you were. And if you're Colorado State fans, you'll always remember where you were, and it'll hurt.
Colorado State just had the combo gut punch. Lose on a last-second shot in the NCAA tournament, and your coach leaves 12 hours later. They just had the double combo.
Yeah,
Similar to not making the NCAA tournament, then losing your coach. I read, last one, I read Hoppy's commentary on the new era of coaches, players. I fully agree with him. You can color me jaded, though, as I'm losing my enthusiasm for college sports with the new age, play for pay, and the pure business model that it is built on. I certainly don't emotionally live and die with each win or loss, but one has to almost look at it as if your favorite college team were a pro organization like the Steelers. Yeah, you root for them and all that, but don't get wrapped around the axle about it. Talk of loyalty and fit, etc., seems to ring very hollow these days. Still a fan, but it is a hard adjustment. From Mike in Wheeling.
Well, you just have to, again, unless you want to be constantly disappointed and constantly depressed, you have to accept that a lot of this is now transactional. You can still be emotionally involved and should be, but you have to accept that.
Well, here's the thing too, guys. Listen, and I won't sit up here and tell people how to act or think or become involved. Yeah, everybody gets involved however they wish to get involved. And for some folks, that's monetarily, that's attending, that's watching, it's listening, however you want to. And some walk away. Totally understand that too. But I think it's important to also know this also is this is a chance for us to be reminded about what's great about sports. Is as disappointing it was, and listen, I'm way up the charts of the people that were disappointed over the last week. And at some point, that pops back. And the games are going to return, and there's going to be a new coach named, and there's going to be optimism around. And I can just tell you right now, as bummed out as I am, and as mad as I was at the selection committee, and as miserable as this last week has been, you know where I'm going to be next year?
Yeah, I know.
Or probably before next year?
I know.
I'm going to be emotionally involved, and I'm going to be emotionally wrapped up, and I'm going to live and die with every basket. And that's just me. And everybody else out there listening can take whatever approach they want, but that is one of the beauties of sports, is the games come back. And the stories will come back. And there will be a roster, albeit with a lot of new guys, that will have guys that we'll all really like and that we'll become attached to. And they'll give some really great moments moving forward. And that's been true throughout history. It'll be true moving forward, regardless of what guys are getting paid, regardless of how long they stay, regardless of who comes in and leaves. The games will return and provide us with some great moments.
That's really well stated. And did we have fun this year?
Had a blast up until the last week.
Yeah, it was.
And we will again.
All right.
That's an optimistic note on which to end.
So it's Monday, and we will be back.
We'll call it an emergency session.
Yeah, we could.
Get that red light. We got to get that red light.
Yeah, we'll be back as it is warranted, depending on what happens as far as hires and things of that nature. But at worst case, we're back Thursday, I would think. Probably. At the latest. All right, Three Guys brought to us by Jan Dills, attorneys at law. They won't take no for an answer. By Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. Time to hydrate, time to liquidate, time to get wet. Get one of those water machines that they've got. Unbelievable selection. Quit hauling all that plastic bottles and stuff and those 5-gallon drums into your business break room or wherever you have. Buy a water machine from Comax Business Systems. Everyone will feel better about it. By Gomart. Get a Gomart rewards card. Go to gomart.com for details. By Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. Go to that website. Sign up for that Honda 40 horsepower motorboat giveaway. By Tudor's Biscuit World. Start your day the homemade way with a Tudor's Biscuit. And by Conley CPA Group, providing value beyond numbers. Thanks to our producer, Mr. Jake. Back again later this week at some point. Subscribe and you'll never miss on Three Guys Before the Game. See you.